Chronographs are one of my favorite types of wristwatches. I think they're not only extremely good looking, but also incredibly functional. And today, I've got such a wristwatch for you guys to take a look at. Let's get on with it. Hello internet friends, and welcome once again to the Quality Time channel. My name is Lester and I'm glad you guys are here with me today. Today I've got this really nice looking watch I purchased early on in my watch collecting journey. During those times I was a bit on a chronograph kick. I love the multiple subdials on the watch face, and I'm also a sucker for a white dial with blued hands. And this particular one has both of these things. Now, one of the online stores that I frequent is Creation Watches of Singapore. They have a wide selection, very fast shipping, and also very frequent sales. And during one of their sales, I found this piece back in June of 2018. And scrolling through the watches that they had on sale, this one really did catch my eye for the reasons I stated before. And I just went ahead and bought it. Now, this particular piece I purchased, my final price was $114 after receiving a $10 discount from Creation Watches. Now, before we get into this piece, let's do our customary wristwatch check. I am rocking the Zealous Swordfish V2. Yes, I just did a video on this particular watch, and if you missed it, please feel free to find the link in the video description. All right, let's get into it. Now, this particular piece is part of Seiko's neoclassic line, and I would classify this as a sort of dress chronograph. It has the chronograph functions, but does not have a tachometer around the outside, so it's not quite as sporty, but a bit more dressy. So I'll call this a dress chronograph. The SKU number for this particular piece is SSB229P1. The case is all made of stainless steel. You've got a brushed finish on the top of those lugs, and you've got polishing, high polish on the sides of the case. The case size is 42.5 millimeters. The case thickness is 11.6, but with that domed crystal, you're looking at 13.2 millimeters. Lug to lug is 50.2 millimeters, and the lug width is a standard 20 millimeters. With this bracelet, and this is not the bracelet that came with the watch, but with this bracelet, the watch weighs 112 grams. The bezel is a fixed bezel, steel again. The crown is a push-pull crown, so it is not a screw-down crown, and it is unsigned. You also have two pushers that operate the chronograph. The top pusher will start the seconds hand, the large seconds hand there. Hitting again will stop it, and then hitting the bottom pusher will reset the seconds hand back to the 12 o'clock position. The crystal is Hardlex. It is highly domed Hardlex. Let's see the distortion in the camera there. That's pretty nice. But there is no AR code in it that I could find. Now onto the dial. The dial is a very nice white textured sunburst dial. Now when I purchased the watch and looking at the stock photos, I could not tell that the dial was even textured. I thought it was a flat white. But upon receiving it, I was extremely surprised and impressed. And I think you can see that as I move the watch in front of the camera, what that texture looked like. It's sort of like I guess like a carbon fiber weave texture, but of course it's a white dial. I think it looks super nice. You've got sunburst dials for the subdials. You could see the sunburst effect as I move the watch back and forth. You've got a Seiko applied logo under the 12 o'clock marker. And you've got chronograph 100 meters of water resistance. You've also got a very, very fine minute track around the perimeter of the watch. Now the hands are and the indices are all blue, which looks really nice. All the indices are also applied indices, they're not printed. They've got, as you can see, they're slightly raised above the dial. As for complications, there are quite a few. You've got a date at the 4:30 position. You've also got a minute wheel for the chronograph function. The bottom dial is the second hand function, and the dial on the right is the 24-hour time. So on the case back, you've got a solid case back. It is steel. It is a screwed on case back, just with the Seiko logo on the back. Nothing too fancy. Now for under $130, it'll be pretty much impossible to get a automatic movement. So this is a Seiko 6T63 movement. It is a mecha quartz movement, and what that is you've got, it is a quartz movement. It is powered by a battery, but as you can see when I hit the pusher here, you've got a pretty smooth sweep. Of course, it's not quite as smooth as automatic, but it gives you that illusion of a smooth sweep, so that's pretty nice. So you sort of have the best of both worlds. You've got the accuracy of a quartz, and you've got that smooth sweeping second hand for the chrono function. It's pretty nice. Now, in terms of the band, this is not the band it came on. This is a band that I purchased off of Aliexpress, and it is a Jubilee bracelet. And if you're interested, I will put a link to this particular bracelet in the video description. But the band it did come with was this leather alligator strap. It is brown. As you can see, it's got Seiko branding on the back with some stitching, color match stitching there, and you've got a signed buckle. Now, stated accuracy for this piece is around 20 seconds a month. Because it is a quartz movement, it's going to be highly accurate. And I got a 1-year warranty from Creation Watches for this watch. So what do I like about the watch? Well, there are several things I do like. First of all, the dial is really, really nice. Much better than I expected, because from the stock photos, I could not even tell it was textured. But you can just see that come out when you play with the light. Just play with it really nice. It looks really, really cool. You got a lot of interesting surfaces. I love the blued hands. Again, a white dial with blued hands is one of my favorite looks. I like the fact that for this price you also get applied indices. That's also a nice touch. And also I applied Seiko logo. You've got that domed hardlex, which gives you that really nice distortion, and I think it really makes this piece stand out, especially at this price. It looks super good. You got that distortion because of that heavily domed hardlex. The mecha quartz movement is also quite nice because, again, you've got that automatic feel, but you've got that quartz accuracy, so that's pretty nice. You also got a date complication, making this a contender for an everyday watch. I prefer having a date of some sort on my watches. And you also got 100 meters water resistance. You could jump in the pool with this one, no problem. The pushers themselves feel really solid, activate nice, and you got pretty decent case finishing for a $130 watch. Several nice finishes, polished on the sides with the brushing on the top. Punches really above its weight, I would say. You've got also a relatively short lug to lug, and so even on my small 6¼ inch wrist, it still works. Even though the dial is just over 42 millimeters, I still think it works well. You've also got a nice standard lug width of 20 millimeters, so you can change it out with many straps, as I've done here. I think it looks fantastic on this Jubilee. I think it really brings it out. Adding this bracelet to the watch I think takes it to another level. Now, of course, at the price point, you can't expect a perfect watch, so I'll go through some of the negatives I discovered while wearing this. First of all, it's that terrible stock leather bracelet that it came with. I mean, it's just really super stiff. I suppose if you wore it for a while, it would be, you could wear it in a bit. and maybe it'll become a bit more supple, but I didn't even bother unwrapping the buckle because of how hard this is. I immediately took this out of the box, took the bracelet off it, and put through a nail on it before I could find a bracelet that I liked. And I did like this combination with the Jubilee. I think it really works. The crystal itself is not sapphire. For $130, I suppose you can't expect sapphire from Seiko. I haven't scratched this one, so I don't know if I've just been lucky or what, but of course a sapphire would be a lot more durable and you don't need to baby it as much. Also, there is zero lume on this particular watch. I would show you lume shot, but there isn't any. None of the hands or indices are lumed. They are, I think it's more in line with my description as a dress chronograph with no lume, which is a shame. I wish it did have a bit. The push-pull unside crown, I mean, it does have 100 meters water resistance, which is nice, but just a plain crown doesn't really make it look super good. Also, if you look closely at the bottom subdial, you can see it ticking away there. This is the seconds for the time. However, I found that it is pretty badly misaligned on the left side of that dial, so it just really doesn't hit the markers all that much. Again, it's difficult to do this sort of alignment, especially for such a low-priced watch. But of course, I thought I would bring it up. And one other thing is the date complication at the 430. I really don't like that position at all. Of course, I understand why they did that because of the 3 subdials, but if they moved to the 6 or something like this, it would just give it a lot more symmetry. As is right now, it's sort of just there, just to be there, and I really don't like that position, but I can live with it. It is $130. Also, again, it is a 42 millimeter watch, a little over 42, and for my small wrist, I wish this was a 39 or 40. I think it would fit even better. Again, this still works because of that relatively short lug to lug. With this bracelet in particular, it's got the female links, so it really tapers down nice, and you got also a nice curve to that case. So even on my small wrist, I think this works, and chronographs are generally supposed to be a little bit bigger. So that's not too bad, but it would have been better for me at least at a 39 to 40 millimeters. And I think the last thing I would say is that even though it is a pretty inexpensive watch, the 1-year warranty is pretty short. So so far I've had it since 2008. I haven't really had a problem with it. The battery is original and still working, so I haven't had an issue. But anyway, those are my negatives for this particular watch. Well, my conclusions about this particular watch, with this dome crystal and this really captivating dial with multiple finishings, I think this SSB229P1 looks a lot more expensive than what I actually paid for. You get a really smooth sweep with that mecha quartz movement, so that really looks nice. Gives you that automatic feeling without the automatic price. You get 100 meters of water resistance and a very useful, although oddly placed date window. I still like having dates in my watches. I think that's a really useful complication. So this could be a pretty decent everyday piece. Now, the only thing that would, stop me from wearing this every day is, of course, the hard Lex. I would be a little bit afraid of scratching it. And of course, there is absolute zero lume. And I think a daily should have at least a little bit of lume. But if you can get over the two things, I think that this could be a contender for an everyday piece. It's got that water resistance, so you don't need to baby it. And I think it looks absolutely fantastic, especially if you put this on a Jubilee bracelet like I have here. I highly recommend a Jubilee, but if you don't if you're not a bracelet person, then this will also look great on a blue NATO, for example, maybe a blue and white NATO. I've done that before. It looks also quite phenomenal. Now, this is an older Seiko model, so if you're interested in this piece, unfortunately, I've looked around and it's sold out in many online stores, but you can still find this on places like eBay, where people are selling it at around the 130, 140 mark, I think, maybe a 150, so still reasonably priced for what you're getting. Now, if you're looking to spend a little more, than 130. Okay, you're going to spend about double then, and you like the look of this watch. Maybe you can look at something like the Dan Henry 1962 racing chronograph. Now, with that piece, you only get 50 meters of water resist, but you're getting, that's another Seiko mecha quartz movement for that smooth sweep. You get a smaller 39 millimeter case with that. You get also Luminova lume. You get AR coating on their crystal, and you also get 2 straps and a nice watch roll. So you're paying about double this particular watch, but you're getting a lot for your money as well. So I haven't seen one of those in person, but I've heard a lot of things about Dan Henry watches, and I thought I would mention it as an alternative to this particular Seiko. So if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to watch my review of this Seiko chronograph. Please make sure to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of my future watch reviews. And what do you think of this piece? Please let me know down in the comments below. As always, my name is Lester, and thank you for spending some quality time with me. Take care now.